don't, sorry, we don't know the cure for cancer, but you have something better. You have the cure for death, for hell, for sin. You have the cure for sin. Jesus, you know Jesus Christ. You know him, you met him, you know that he saves you from your sin. But you keep it quiet. You don't shout it to people. What? Why? You know that Jesus cures something even greater than cancer. You have that cure. And so the challenge to you is, what? Don't hold it in. Don't keep that a secret. Because your friends need to know just as much as you know. They need it just as much as you need it. And so, there are ways for us to live without being too abrasive, without pushing people away from Jesus. And the first one, simple like that. If you want to draw people to Jesus, live like Jesus. I mean, that's all I got, really. Live like Jesus. Tell him that when he says, love your neighbor as yourself, love your neighbor as yourself. Do it. I mean, when Jesus says, feed the poor, or feed the poor and clothe the hungry. Clothe the poor and feed the hungry. I had it backwards, my bad. But when he says those things, show God's love by doing those things. Show people that you care about them. Because I've discovered in life that people don't care how much you know, or how much wisdom you have, until they realize how much you care about them. They don't want to know what's wrong about them until they know that you actually are concerned about them. They want to know that you care about them. And so, if you want to get your friends to Jesus, the first step is to care. To show them that you care about them. Be there for them when they need it. And don't hide away from the fact that you love Jesus. Tell your friends. Just let them know. The second thing I have is pray. Always pray. If we want to win our friends, then we have to start by praying for them. Praying that doors are opened and that their eyes are able to see and that they hear the trumpet when we blow it. And two examples I had for me was the 30-second kneel down. When I was in school, this was the challenge. The 30-second kneel down, they called it. Was before school started or before every class, your challenge was to kneel down in front of your locker for 30 seconds and pray. To show people that you actually are serious about this thing. To show about this Jesus thing that you say you're serious about. To show people, don't hide it. And then the fight for five was my little creation. It was pick 5 friends that you know that don't know Jesus. You know them. I know them. I know 5 friends that don't know Jesus. I can list them right now. The fight for 5 is to pray for those 5 before, every hour on the hour, every minute. Just be in prayer for them. That you have ways to speak to them. That you have ways to show them Jesus. And so that is how I show Jesus, is just by living like him. Question number 5. Why are some friendships ruined by religion? How many of you guys have friends that walk away from you because they know you believe in Jesus? We've all been there. People are like, whoa, you're different, man. You believe in Jesus? I used to know you. I had that. That was painful, right? All of a sudden my friend was my friend, and then I said, hey, I believe in Jesus. And he's out the door, driving away, and I don't know, he probably wrecked his speed so fast. But I think friendships are ruined by religion because people don't want to step into the light. They see that, when Jesus came into he said that I'm the light of the world, Jesus says I'm a light, and he calls us out of that. It's that we're different. We're no longer the same person, right? Jesus goes on to say in John 12:46, he says, I have come into the world as a light, so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. And then 1 Thessalonians 5:5 reads, You are all children of the light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night or to the darkness. Oh, okay. Cars 2 in theaters near you. And so Jesus is saying, you're no longer in the dark. You're no longer in sin, right? You're no longer a part of that. You're different. You're set apart. And so friendships are ruined to me because people don't want to, like, they don't understand us. They're like, well, they're all selfish and they live in sin, but we're free and we care about others and we love, and we're strange now to them. They think we're crazy for believing in Jesus, but really, they're the crazy ones for not believing in Jesus. It said itself, the Bible says it. But really, like, I think friendships are ruined just because they don't want to accept, like, they're not open to seeing it. Their eyes aren't open to what we have. And so that goes back to them, like, if you're dealing with that, fight for 5. Pray for them. Let them, like, restore that friendship, whatever it is. The next 2 questions deal with personal pain. Really interesting questions that I have. The first one, you guys always, like, wonder, how come God does bad things in this world, like natural disasters or something? Like, the question here is, why did God create cancer? How many of y'all have been affected by cancer? Like you've had a family member, or you know a friend, or you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who had cancer. That has to be everybody. But cancer affects so many people. And so the question is, why did God create cancer? And my personal answer is, I don't believe God created cancer. I don't believe that God designed that for us. I believe this is just mine. I think that cancer was something that sin created, that sin brought forth, that when Adam and Eve was in the garden, like, everything was made harmony, you know. It even says that God was able to walk with them. He was able to walk the ground, you know. Adam knew him by his footsteps. He heard Jesus. He heard God. He was able to be on that, you know, earth. But then Adam and Eve sinned. They ate the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They ate from that tree. And sin entered the world. Like, they disobeyed God. And from that moment, like, Adam and God were separated. Like, they couldn't be around each other. And so I think the balance was just thrown off. Like, there's no harmony, there's no peace in the earth, just because we don't understand how much power, like, not power, but how much disasters sin can bring. In Micah 1:4-5, check this out. We read that the mountains melt beneath him, and the valleys split apart like wax before the fire, like water rushing down a slope. All this is because of Jacob's transgression, because of the sins of the people of Israel. All of those things. Valleys split apart. Earthquakes. Because of sin. Like, I don't think God created it. I think sin brought it forth. And so disease falls right into it. I think disease and cancer are from our sin. And those things won't go into pass until we reach heaven, where there's no pain and no more suffering. And it's just, we're back with God, the way it was designed, the way we were intended to be created, to just be in love with God and back up there. So, cancer is not from God, in my opinion. But the second one, the last one,